So I'm not going to try to call anybody's build out or anything on this one, because again, I'm finding so many different builds and everything else out here that, you know, some people say this here is best, this here is best. And again, honestly, when you go to every single content creators, even myself, and I'm going to say this loud and clear, even on my builds, why I call them the best, or if I call them the strongest or something like that, it's based upon how the build works, how it works solo, how it works with a team, how it works with PvE and PvP, because all of my builds that I prefer to use, I want to be able to take them from PvP to PvE or PvE to PvP. And I don't want to have to trade out all this stuff to make this build work for just PvE and then take it and go over to PvP and have to change up all this other stuff. I want them to be to where you can just bridge that gap, take it from one side to the next. So rather than in the next few videos and everything else I'm going to show y'all, I may actually do these split up separately and stuff like that. I'm going to show y'all how to properly use said builds and help you guys out a little bit better. Now, if you guys just want to see PvE type builds and you want to go by the numbers on that, I've gone over and looked over several, and I mean several different content creators, and honestly the only one I've seen that gives the most accurate information and say for PvE is going to be DoD Ridgen. I'll put a post up there. He's very knowledgeable. He's good on PvE side. If you want to go for PvP and stuff like that, just PvP, honestly, everybody's build because they play on console versus PlayStation versus PC, it's always going to be completely different. So that's going to be more hard to find. So I'm not even going to suggest me as an option. If you want to look at mine, that's fine. But again, all of my builds, they're going to basically bridge that gap from the PvE community to those who want to go and try to PvP. So if you want to go check that out, just go watch some PvP videos. You'll see the difference. Some people play M and K, some people use controller. So it's always going to be different and controversial on that as well.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
So to put this kind of stuff into perspective, I saw one of his videos, and while his build does destroy him pretty well, and it's able to do a lot of damage by the numbers, like I said, PvP versus PvE, there's two different versions, and this will always be a controversial subject, and this is why I bring this to y'all's attention. It's not because his build is bad. His build is actually good. Like I said, you want to go get PvE stuff, by all means, go to him, go take a look. You want something that works in PvP, you can come over here and look at my stuff. My stuff will transfer from here to there, and I'll even show you some game footage of why my version, when you take it to PvP, also coming to PvE, can also do just as much damage. So for instance, when we're talking about Eclipse like this, the sticky burn is going to be your highest damage piece. But if you want damage numbers like this for PvP, you need to make it a certain way. Versus if you want sustained, constant damage of doing damage to other targets and stuff like that, so you can keep the burn going longer, you would go and make a build similar to his. But at the same time, it's PvP versus PvE. So certain builds you're going to come across on YouTube are going to be controversial. They're going to be for one side or a different side. So let's jump into the controversy. So while some people prefer to have a build like this with Golan, it's more or less a question of, is the duration, and because you get this added range, is the Golan better or is the Wyvern better? For instance, a Wyvern like this, you know, putting it on. So we're going to test these out and see which one is better, honestly. So first, let's see what we're set at for the damage, because the damage isn't really going to change. So we got our base damage for this. It transfers over to those, but we're trying to get the duration to see what the duration is on one target. because there may be times when you're facing off against a chonga that the one target goes. But as you see, those yellows over there, it didn't transfer back over. Now, what I mean by it didn't transfer back over is even if I put this wyvern on, the skills damage is going to get more versus if I were to put on the Golan, same kind of setup, same kind of build. But those yellows over there, if they're damaged or anything like that, they're going to be able to transfer it back over. So showing that is not showing the build truly. It needs to show just what it can do against one target. And you see, watch, see they have armor gone, it transfers over, it transfers back. That's showing too much. If you go to countdown, you're going to be facing nothing but yellows, so if it doesn't transfer on those, it's not going to transfer over anyways. So still, same damage, same numbers, it's just the initial blast was more because of the wyvern. So we got a set basis for our damage numbers. So now we come up to the duration part. Does the duration part actually matter from the fire? Now this is where we have to do a side-by-side comparison, because you can even put this on, but we're not going to use this because this is against like dogs or something like that, which his build does show. But when we're talking about this is mainly just, is the duration on this long enough to damage? So we're going to have to do a side-by-side. So to do a side-by-side, I've got to set this for 20 and make sure those targets are far enough away. That one's far enough away, because we just want to do the duration of what's right here. And I'm going to do a picture-in-picture right now to show the damages. As you can see, one finishes the target faster versus the other one. And then this one over here, they both, same weapons, everything in hand, all that, they both finish at 23.7 seconds. So now that we know that no matter what you put on here, it's actually not going to help it out hardly at all, even though the numbers, and again, this is the thing, sometimes not always do numbers, especially when you're in the shooting range versus out in the open world, does the numbers actually matter. So now it just comes down to, because some people want to know, does the skill duration help out versus skill haste? This one I have no clue. So we're going to find out right here and now. We'll do a timer. So skill duration gives it to 17.7 seconds the moment the burn stops. Now we're not counting the vial mask. Now if some of y'all want to ask how I'm getting these numbers without showing an actual clock, I'm literally going there, and the moment it says like 910, that's when the sticky launcher hits, like right there. I always see a little blue number that says 910 for its initial hit on the target, and then I cut it from there, and then I cut it from once the burn stops on the target, not the vial clock but the burn. They're at 17.7 seconds with skill duration. So now we're going to find out if the skill haste versus skill duration is better or not, which one is actually stronger. So just give me a few seconds, let me throw these out, and we're going to see what the time is, and you know, we'll see if actually, because a lot of people want to know, even I want to know, does skill duration on the mods help the skills or not? So let's set the target, reset it just in case. We got to double make sure, yeah, triple make sure. Okay, and stuck. Okay, done. It transfers over, and this is where duration does matter, because we want to make sure it does the transfer. 17.7 seconds again. So duration skills mods do not matter for that. It just matters on the duration of what's on the ground. So in short, as y'all saw, there's a 17.2 duration between the one fire sticky on the firewall and the same duration or kill time as what's on the survivalist. But if you notice and you actually go through it by the specialist says it gives 20% more burn duration. So while some people will use math and other people will use visuals and things like that, sometimes the shooting range does not show this. Again, when we give y'all builds and things like that, not always is it going to be 100% accurate, but we're going to give you the best as you can. It's on you guys to decide personally what is or what is not best for you, your situation, the situation that you're coming across. Because a lot of people will go over here and fight in a very narrow corridor of a mission versus out in the open world where ads can really roam around, especially with these types of builds. So you got to take in the situation. So let's show you the specialist and make sure y'all understand what I'm talking about. So for instance, if you want duration, which for some reason, like I showed in my video, it doesn't always work. This is 20% duration. Now, the duration, which is every 10% that you get, is 0.4 seconds. That's it. That's all it is. Versus with this, you don't really gain anything else except for if you're close to a target, your allies will gain an extra 10% damage. And you gain the shotgun, which the shotgun allows you to do damage like he shows, damage to warhounds and things of that nature. That's really all you gain. You don't really gain anything else except for maybe the specialist weapon, which takes forever to stack because you're not close to them at times, and you have to be close for it to count. And if you're not, because for some reason they start pushing on you, then this is your better option. Now why? Because you have incendiary grenades. It allows you to do an extra thing of fire, shut off a certain area. The explosive bolts that you get also rip off armor of the dogs and the chongas, allowing you to do status effects. And because you get more of them by the more status effects you do, it makes it to where you can use this specialist ammo more. At the same time, you can gain more ammo back just from going cover to cover, because this game is based on cover to cover. Your teammates get an extra 10% bonus damage from status affected enemies, and you get skill haste down at the bottom for being in cover. So in all around, this specialist is honestly the better one to go to get more bang for your buck. But if you want the duration and burn and being able to set them on fire with the chem launcher or the fire piece, there you go. But you can't beat the crossbow, because if we could put that fire piece on here, the little shotgun on here, this would be so OP. This alone would be so OP. Plus, when you're fighting yellows, you also get extra protection from elites. You get more for this build with this and bonuses than you do with the firewall. Plus, it helps your teammates out. Now, if you're going to show anything, don't ever show Federal Emergency Bunker, ladies and gentlemen, when you do build videos. The reason why is because when you're doing it regular like this, like blue, now that when it's invaded, that's different. If you're going to show this one here when it's blue, or even Lincoln, most of these are like straightaway type areas. Most of your ads are going to be in a straightaway. Don't go show these right here. Potomac is a decent one. Roosevelt Island, because they're kind of can spread out in certain areas, is a decent one. Most of your other ones, except for Camp White Oak. Camp White Oak, if you can show this one with your build, because it's black tusks and at the same time it's huge, it's open, show this. This is what you're looking for. If you've got people showing you build videos in these areas or these missions, most of these missions that you fight, or like this one, are all straightaways. They're easy, they're straight through, they're just straightaways. There's nothing open compared to this one. If someone wants to show you a build video and they want to show you how good it is, besides showing you legendary, make them show you this. For one, like right here, I can jammer a dog. I can come over here, I can hit these ads because I know where they're at. Now this is my glass cannon one I'm using, and again, it's situational. I'm not using the other stuff. This is my build. I know where they're coming, and this is what I'm telling you guys about. When it comes to builds, it's not always about, having this build, being able to do this, because some people say, well, you got the glass cannon, it's not enough damage. I can sit here and look at this. He's got enough burn, he's gonna die. He can't shoot me, he's dead, solo. Because I know the situation, I know where they're coming from. I can aim there, I know where it's at. Like for instance right here on this mission. Other missions have areas just like this. These builds excel in these types of areas because it's a straightaway. You want to see a build version, have them show you an area where it is not easy for them. Show them the hardest situation possible. Show them that that build can excel in the worst case scenario. See how easy it is for me to kill these guys? Just like that, no golden bullet, no nothing. And so the tank is still alive. I can come right over here because I'm in cover. I'm getting more skill haste. Boom! I get it back even faster. The thing's almost dead. One shot. Boom! It's gone. It's that easy. And again, that's what I'm talking to y'all about. Sometimes showing stuff like this can be too easy, and it makes it look easy. As y'all can see right here, I've got him status affected. You see how he's taking damage? The Chonga is right there. That's because I hit him with a crossbow bolt. If you're using anything other than the crossbow bolt, he will not take damage like that. Watch. Boom. See? It goes straight to his health because you took that armor chunk off. That is why the crossbow excels in these types of scenarios, because now he can actually take damage from those status effects. Now pay close attention to these. I've got two Chongas right here. See, I've set one on fire. This is going to take me a while to show and demonstrate, but I want y'all to look. See all those status effects that's hitting them? I'm getting damage on them, but you notice how it's not hurting their health? Now watch this. Hit him with a crossbow bolt. I hit him with a crossbow bolt. Boom. See how you got that little black symbol right in there? That means now I can get to their health. And if I can get to their health, hey, man, that just means I can kill them a little bit easier, right? Now, I'm trying to do everything I can because they're trying to surround me, so it's going to take me a little while, but I'm just trying to slowly show y'all, so I'm not trying to rush this. I'd rather just show y'all what I mean by certain pieces in this video than anything. So let's kill that ad. Now you see right there, see how it's showing a little bit of black on their health? That means that they're able to take those status effects. See that? I hit them with the crossbow bolt that allows them to take status effect damage. Plus, because we hit them with those crossbow bolts like that, guess what? That also means our other teammates can do damage in those sections. So watch this one. Watch this Chonga. See? Watch. Boom. See, he takes that damage. That bleed, it's still affecting him. Now, you see I'm shooting him with the shotgun. See how it's able to go straight to his health? He's halfway dead already. Now, he does have a healer hive on his backpack, so this is going to make it a little bit harder sometimes, especially for certain players, because, again, sometimes the shooting range, and I agree with some people, that sometimes the shooting range does not show the best of the build. Showing numbers is not the best of the build. Sometimes gameplay itself is not the best of the build because the numbers may be better than what the actual gameplay shows. Situations, I'm not close enough, he's not close enough. My other players are giving me extra damage or giving me extra buffs, things like that. So again, if I'm giving all these extra buffs or getting those extra buffs, sometimes the build may not show right. Now, again, I'm going to state this, his build is good. It is really good. I didn't even think or anything about that with the shotgun being able to hit those dogs in that type of scenario. So it's a good build. So DOD, if you see this, I'm not trying to knock your build or anything like that, nor am I trying to tell you players that it's a bad build. Please do not think that. It's actually a very good build. But again, what goes for PvP does not also go for PvE half the time. So in my build videos and things like that, I'm going to break it down to you to give you the best build that works in both scenarios. So if you see my builds, most of them that I go for, yes, they do have a lot of stuff towards glass cannon. Not always is that the best option for you personally. So when you see a content creator tell you that, oh, it must be glass cannon, it must be this, he better be giving you a good situation and why, because not always is that the best thing for that build. Just like in his gives more duration, so it keeps the burns going for bigger groups and stuff like that. Very good example. But some of these types of builds, like this with Eclipse Protocol, can be controversial. So you need to choose as a viewer what you want.